Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As you log onto the line, let me officially welcome you to our BYOB. This is our profit call, indice focus. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you drop it in the chat. You want to make sure you drop it in the chat where you're calling in from this morning. Drop it in the chat along with those affirmations. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to prepare you. I'm here again right this morning because I know, BYOB worldwide. This is a different time, a different call. And so I just wanted to make sure if you had the opportunity to join us while you're dropping it in the chat, if you joined us this morning and you enjoyed this morning's call, let me get a 777 in the chat as well. If you are on the line this morning and you enjoyed our advanced training, let me get a 777 in the chat as well. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. So drop it in the chat. Now, also, we are streaming. We're streaming. And so you want to make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, BYOB Movement Worldwide. You also want to make sure that you are on our Facebook page. You go like our page, BYOB Movement Worldwide, and you want to share that stream, right? You want to make sure that you share that stream. Now, go ahead and before we get started, before we touch anything, we want to make sure. So good morning, Jacksonville. Good morning, Minnesota. United Kingdom, good morning. Good morning. Pennsylvania, good morning. Y'all, Fort Polk, drop it in the chat where you're calling in from. Okay, I see the 777s. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades in and profit. I am 777. Right? Bold in confidence. BYOB average breaker. The market pays me daily. Patience, profit. Right? So you want to add to, just do not take away, ladies and gentlemen. You want to add to, just do not take away. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it is now about that time. If this is your first time here with us this morning, let me get a 111. Let me get a 111 in the chat. If you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222 in the chat. If you are cashing out, let me get a 777. And if you are compounding, let me get an 888. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you want to do. Now, for those of you who already asked for the 777s, if you did not have an opportunity to join our advanced call this morning, let me get a 555 as well. I just want to know who's on the line with us this morning. So I want that, right? Yes, definitely want to make sure that we have that, 777. We got that 555. All right. I see the 6 in 6. Let's be very specific. 6 in 6. All right. So awesome. So, and welcome. I see it's your first time on here this morning. Welcome. And for those of you all, welcome back. Now, this morning was our advanced training. I do see some 555s in the chat. This morning was our advanced training. And I just want each and every last one of you all to understand, and I want you all to know that this call schedule was designed with you in mind. We are here to walk you from pre-K to postgraduate. We are here to make sure that you understand how to dive in. We are here to make sure that you understand how to analyze the charts, and we're going to grow with you. So you want to make sure that you're plugged in. You want to make sure that you're here on Monday through Thursday. Yes, you heard me, Monday through Thursday, because we start this call out from the basics, the understanding, bringing you clarity, building a foundation, and then we take a deeper dive by the end of the week, and where you're understanding how the fundamentals move the market, the impact, because our goal, our destination, our purpose is to make sure you can walk in wealth. And then also, I do want to say this, for those of you all, right? Those of you all who are, with us now this weekend, okay? This weekend, I know it's a holiday weekend, and we want to make sure that we show up and we show up with excellence. We want to make sure that we show up and we show up with impact. We want to make sure we show up with guests. So in Cleveland, Ohio, you heard me, Cleveland, Ohio, we want to make sure that you are registered and you show up to our BYOB Expo. And then, of course, in Jacksonville, Florida, you want to make sure you do the same, because this is worldwide impact. And I see many of you all on this line from the United Kingdom. Well, guess what? Get ready, because your event kicks off next month. All right. You all as well will have a wonderful opportunity to have an expo with us. So get your preparations. Understand it's going to be that the third weekend in the United Kingdom as well. So I'm excited because BYOB worldwide impact, worldwide understanding, worldwide lives being changed. But let me get out of the way, because I want to turn this call over to a gentleman who has literally taken this information and changed his life. He has been a part of the movement for maybe going on about 2 years now, right? We just hit 4. So just imagine from your commitment, just imagine from your determination, imagine what can happen and what can transpire in your life, because we're talking about someone who has gone from being a veteran in the military, serving our country, to transitioning to traveling consistently, right? We think when we serve, we want to make sure, right? When we serve, we want to make sure that when we get out, we are home with our families, but that was not his story. So he was always working and traveling and not home, but because of his determination, his commitment to himself, he is now, not only is he a full-time husband, a full-time father. Y'all heard the Pips and Pampers this morning. So we keep talking about Pips and Trips, but let's make it real, Pips and Pampers as well. So, but now he's a full-time trader and educator as well. And this has given him his life back, and he's here to pay it forward to help you all do the same. So it brings me a pleasure and honor to turn this call over to none other than to Mr. Genesis Patton. Mr. Patton, are you on the line?
Good morning. I am. Thank you, Ms. Dyer. Thank you so much again for, one, the opportunity to perform on this platform, and two, just for all the knowledge that you instilled upon not only me, but our entire educational platform before that has led us all up to this point now. And again, shouting out to the mastermind team, including Dr. Craig Bythewood and Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. All of you guys' commitment to this process is all greatly benefited each and every single one of us, and especially changed my life. So shout out to everybody else on the line. I appreciate everybody that's here with us. For all my 222s, thanks for coming on back. 111s, I appreciate you for committing something to yourself, to your family. This is, if you allow it, this can do a lot for you, okay? So for my 777s and my 888s, congratulations on the momentum that you're carrying as well. As we jump into this, I'm going to get into sharing my screen here. All right, and because we are with BYOB Cash Out Strategy, we are back into our news, okay? So if you were tuning in this morning, we spoke about the USD news, this red folder we have here, this PPI that's come up in this week. We spoke about our unemployment claims, this FOMC speech that's coming up here soon. But what I want to bring light to is right here at 8:30. Hopefully you guys were paying attention. So again, in the line earlier, how I mentioned in construction, we measured twice and we cut once. We're gonna go through our other news sources too, just to make sure there isn't anything we were missing. What we could have missed, though, had we not been open to seeking this information, was that here in 23 minutes around it's not the European bell, but our bell here in New York, we still have got news hitting around there. So for you guys that are in those trades, just be cautious of where you're at in those trades. Coming to our FX book. I don't see anything coming up soon. We got 2 hours to the next bit of news, according to this source, our 8-week bill auction and our 4-week bill auction. Let's see what Forex Fact. I think I saw that on Forex Factory as well. Or was it? No, it was FX Street. Read into that. So we can read into our 4-year bill auction. Okay, being released at 11:30 on this frame, huh? Okay, that's what it did say there. So being that we want to focus on indices right now, I'm not even going to get wrapped up into that. But what I will bring, actually, I think I had it on this tab actually, is that 8:30 move right there. Okay, you guys. I come back and was just looking at what happened. Just to express to you guys the sentiment of what fundamentals do to the market. You can see we got this immediate push here. Now, what I'm not telling you to do is to go up here, see, let's see, 8:30. We've got our values right here, like how the news actually turned out. The previous and what was kind of expected. And none of this information is here. As you can see, like when we go down, like only thing you have is the expected. But what I don't want you to do is to take these informations and make trades just based off of those. Now, while it was very pivotal in decisions that I made, it's just something you want to be aware of. All right. So, like I told you guys before, I'm top-down analysis. Just to give you guys a space and where we're at before we get closer to the bell. I'm going to jump into our BYOB cash out strategy here in a second, but just to give wind on this subject. All right. So to our top-down analysis here, our 4-hour. I wasn't able to rectify the issue with the pivots on this chart. They must be doing some maintenance, but with some help, I got some laid on the chart. I have our psychological levels and my support and resistance that I laid down earlier this morning, right? And what I noticed around that time of the news is that our 4-hour still was not, here, let me drop down so we can see our bubble. We'll put a vertical line here for reference because we're going to lose sight of that here in a second. But when that news hit, our stochastic was still in a buy. Our 1-hour was, or at our 4-hour, our stochastic was in a buy. At our 1-hour, our stochastic was still in a buy. And now, because we're on our U.S. indices, our time frame confluence that we seek is much tighter, right? The 1-hour and the 4-hour are still clear for direction, but my analysis here will stay between the 30 and the 5-minute, right, you guys? 30 and the 5-minute. There's a lot more liquidity when it comes to U.S. indices, and what you don't want to get caught up in is an expensive lesson learned because you just didn't want to hop through the right time frames. Okay, the 1-hour and 4-hour, like I said, still really great for direction, as you can see after all the news unfolded. What ended up happening with our stochastic. But time frame confluence on our indices, you guys, especially coming up here to the bell, is going to be at our 5-minute and our 30-minute. So leading on to continuing in my point. So after the news hit, our stochastic was still in a buy at our 4 and our 1-hour. Starting to look into our trade here at the 30-minute, it was still not pointed directly up, but it was still in an upward momentum. So guys, here on the indices, whereas like on our forex, our currency exchange pairs, we at our 1-hour would like our stochastic to look like it's in line with the momentum of our trend. Here on the US indices, we're going to look for that on 30-minute. So this is where we want to do the quote unquote look like right here. All right, you guys. Let me minimize this back down. Got 15 minutes into the bell. So to analyze this from the perspective, before I move on to other indices, we are close to our 36.5. We are at a point of significant rejection. All right, so it rejected once right here. We can see where it where it made it through the 36,500 price point right here, but it didn't hold. So just validating that rejection. Again, another attempt right here when it seemed to fall into this zone, right? Always looking to the left, you guys, considering what's happened in the past. Now, past events do not necessarily dictate future performance, but they are clues. They are highly representative of what's going to happen here to come. You know, we don't make predictions, but we use how would you say it? Educated guess. These are our theories. Okay, you guys. There's a lot of scientific processes that are validated, that validate theories. And so here at BYOB, we're just validating those theories. All right, so we've crossed over our pivot point. We are close to our R1. Tune in with me tonight and I'll explain that in further detail. Our support and resistance lines, especially, or support and resistance areas, especially at our pivot levels, are kind of areas where price is gonna hang out, right? So just the clues that we have now, our 4 hours is our stochastic is in a buy. This is our leading indicator. Keeping in mind that it is in an overbought territory at a significant point of rejection. Our 1 hour is overbought, still buying, just like our 4 hour at that same point. Like the point of rejection doesn't change, you guys. So overbought into my 30, overbought, 5 minute overbought. Okay. Now, what at the 5 minute I want you to pay attention to is this little notch right here as well, where it's starting to gear up for this for what price action is going to do next. Okay. Just because I'm mentioning that price action is overbought right now doesn't mean we're necessarily looking for a sale. We are right now just talking to the charts. So like, what's up, buddy? What's going on? What you doing right now? You know, you gonna make me some money here soon. You know, we're coming up on those moments. Okay. So we're gonna apply. Well, let's get into the cash out strategy really quick. I've got some analysis that I've been watching for a little while, but being that this is an indices focused call, I want to show you guys the authority of the BYOB cash out strategy. Okay. Now, disclaimer, I do not recommend like you spending a whole bunch of time, like unless you are a seasoned trader or you have a comfortable trade account balance, you know, watch out with the indices. Okay. All I'm simply trying to show you here is the validity of our strategy. All right. What happens when you get the BYOB cash out strategy? So here at the 15 minute, our stochastic, our leading indicator is at the 20, blue line cross or around the 20, blue line cross over the red, and upward momentum, green flat bottom candle. If you guys can see that, I'll get out the way. PSR flip right there. Okay. We want to take this up to our hour. Like I said earlier, we don't just jump into trades, right? Let's find my handy dandy line. All right, you guys, if you look down here at my stochastic, so it got a little mixy right here. You know, it wasn't perfect, but what you do have immediately after this, you know, so at this point in time, our three indicators kind of became an area of value where we just started watching out, you know, immediately there, well, not so immediately, we're on the 1 hour, but after a short period of time, we curved up at the 1 hour, you know, we started to get our quote unquote looks like, you know, and then if you see in the grander scheme of things, what ended up happening, we rose significantly once the BYOB cash out strategy started happening around here. We just had to wait a little while. Let me drop in patience, patience, profit, patience, patience, profit, patience, patience, profit. You know what I'm saying? It's a a lot of patience. And that, you guys, that's why we spend so much time in affirmations, because that's really what's going to key you in with your patients. All right. So we're 10 minutes before the bell. Let me go ahead and open up another indice. I think I've got those are our trades from this morning, which we'll go over here in a minute once we have time after the bell. All right, so here are our indices. For any of my 111s that are here with us, well, that's not an indice. Let go of that. For any of my 111s here with us, a little OCD moment there. Our indices are the US 30. We have our S&P 500, our NASDAQ. I got Bitcoin up here. It's not an indice, so disregard that. And gold, it often reacts with our indices, so I monitor it there, right? So again, disregard the Bitcoin. It is not a indice. It is not an indice. We have the US 30, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and then like I mentioned, gold often reacts with our indices, right? So we've already gone over our US 30. Let's apply some market structure to our S&P just to figure, like, let's answer some questions. You know what I mean? First off, let me note that the S&P most closely resembles or most closely follows our US 30. So if these two are kind of like out of sync, like when you're looking down here at your stochastic oscillator and you look up here at your candles and you're getting mixed messages, then you're kind of in what we know as a mixed market, a lot of indecision. That would probably be a good time to, monitor what's happening. You might be in a funky zone where you just have to wait for your time frames to align and all that good jazz. But if them two are out of line, then start asking some questions. All right, as of right now, my 15-minute kind of looks like it wants to cooperate. My 4-hour, 1 hour, we were already at my 15. We're on my indices, so we want to monitor what's happening primarily at my 30 and my 5. So at my 30 and my 5, you guys, and right now I'm going to lay some support and resistance down for you, but I always want to go over things that I see immediately. First of all, our S&P and our US 30 seem to be in agreement. So that's a good sign, honestly, for the trend that they're in. Now, what I do also want to pay attention to is right here at my stochastic. We're starting to get a little bit of curve right here, but that doesn't mean necessarily that we're ready to sell. What it does tell me that I kind of want to watch out for is like a correction of some sort. If we spike, I want to make sure I'm watching out for corrections. We're at a place in the market. Let's take it up to the 4-hour so I can actually show you where we're at, right? We're at a place of rejection, right? Any profit or any trades you make right now, you really want to be at a point, and I'm glad this come up in conversation right now, where you are secure in your profit. You want to get into a comfortable trade where you can sit through, maybe like go pay a bill or something, or take care of, like, I don't know, walk your dog. In order to do stuff like that, you would have to like make it through this whole zone right here. Okay, we're gonna have to conquer this zone, and can like it would come up here, retest. Then we're gonna have to have like some strong momentum indicating that we can go up here. Right for right now, what I'd see is that you really want to focus on securing any profits that you guys pull here in around 8 minutes when our bell rings, and really just taking a look at where you're at, referring back to our news, because our indices are fundamental heavy. What's coming up? Like we got this, we're not going to consider that. Oh, in 38 minutes, we've got that OFMC member speech. Brainerd, let's see what they are talking about, or mentioning what he's talking about. Lael Brainerd took office as a member. Okay, it's kind of just saying who that guy is. If anybody you're kind of interested in that, I'm sure he's a swell fellow. But coming down here at my 10:30, I noticed I have more news. And gas is, or natural gas, being that it's one of our resources, could be pivotal enough to hold off like any real movement in the market. Now, yesterday we were real news heavy around this area or around this time frame. Why you guys may have lived through a good pullback yesterday. Let me see if I've still got that pulled up. You guys have to forgive me. I'm like a sucker for the US 30. So let me go back and see what she was talking about. Because yesterday we were at this point of rejection. That was the same. Yesterday we were at this point of rejection too. I use this one. See, look at there. Look at there. What did that say? But yesterday we were at this point of rejection too. And when our news hit, we had this really good spike. Our analysis told us the truth. Our 4-hour was in those overbought conditions. Our 1 hour, like everything was kind of like in line like it was today, right? So we had this really good spike, but being that we were at this point, you wanted to secure those profits, being that we were news heavy, that this one bit of news wasn't strong enough to carry us through that zone. Like, look here, we've got, this is like this 36,500. That psychological level, matter of fact, make that a 4. I'm tripping. I kind of suggest these as like intensities. This web analyzer is really a tool. Like some of you guys don't even know, but you will tap in tonight, 9 o'clock. We'll be here for that purpose specifically. But this 36.5 right here was a significant, it's a significant price point, as we've seen when we squinched in the charts earlier, right? So the rest of the news that we had to take place, that's what all this sitting was. There were still decisions being made. If you were with me on the 5 a.m. call, like I told you, these candles represent real-time decisions made by real-time people. Somebody in their office, may it be in a 68-story building, or COVID, they're working out of their garage right now. Whatever's clever. I bet they got some really cool offices. But they had decisions to make, and at this point, in spite, at time in the market, it just, they didn't have enough confidence to bring it through that level. Now here we are today. We've still got not necessarily as news heavy, but what this is the week after NFP. You know what I mean? So we've got a lot of news that relates to that surge of liquidity into the market, those jobless claims, as it was mentioned earlier. And when we were on the call, there's more jobless claims to be considered. Let go of that. Where are you doing? More jobless claims to be considered. Let's find those again, just for point of reference. Wasn't here, obviously. FX book, maybe. And we've got 4 minutes to the bell, you guys. Jobless. Okay, maybe I was just caught up in some news I was thinking about from the other. Okay, I wasn't crazy. Unemployment claims at 8:30, right? All this news is indicative of what happened, or is tied into what happened last week as well. These are things here at the advanced level that you kind of wait for. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, some analysis that I had been monitoring. And if you see where we're at, we're kind of at a breakthrough of this trend line. Now, it does not mean that we are ready to soar through just yet, but area of value is what this now becomes, right? This now becomes worth my time. This becomes me worth, gluing to my analysis, asking questions, what's really going on. Now, a bit of information that I do want to share with all you guys that out here like the Bitcoins, cryptos, all that kind of stuff. Me personally, I try to steer away from the I guess you'd call it the stereotype. When I mention to people I'm with and pulling myself with currency exchange. Everybody, oh, you do Bitcoin? Yeah, well, it's a currency. Yeah, it's a currency. It moves just like everything else. Market structure applies to it. You find the BYOB cash, the authority of the BYOB cash out strategy in it, right? But one thing that was brought to my attention this morning is I just want to if for you guys that kind of question where crypto is at, the futures of it, some of you guys are seeing probably like a dip right now in some of your investments. You can see all that here on our charts. Like this web analyzer, I'm telling you guys, this ain't nothing to play with. Don't let nobody sit here and downplay what you guys got going on right now, because like while everybody was going through the AMC crazes and stuff like that, the game stops, we were sitting here watching that on these charts. You feel me? And even in these dips, for you guys that aren't necessarily invested in Bitcoin, we profit off of these sales as well. Like I said, Bitcoin is a currency. The point that I was trying to make though before this bell goes off is that Bitcoin is trading in line with the NASDAQ now, as reported by Bloomberg this morning. You guys, that in itself means so much. That it's a currency, guys. We are literally witnessing the evolution of currency, just like when currency went digital to charts like these, to when it went paper, all that stuff. You guys we're not financial advisors, okay? We're not financial advisors at all, but Bitcoin's here. I'm just gonna say that Bitcoin's here. Where it goes, I'll leave that up to you. But Bitcoin's here, all right, you guys. And parts of this report this morning is that it's trading in line with the NASDAQ. And now that the bell's rung off, I'll highlight. I'll get back to that point here in a minute. Here we have those spikes. Now that we are at the activity going between the 1 and 5. Now you guys keep in mind, after the movement, whatever it should be, don't live here at the 1. Please don't live here at the 1 minute. Please don't live at the 1 minute. You will break your own heart. Make sure your analysis is laid down on the higher time frames. They dictate, like I'm telling you. You ever has your grandfather ever corrected your father, or your grandmother ever corrected your parents? Like I'm telling you, listen to that 4 hour. All right, it ain't just daddy, it's granddaddy. This is the legacy. What's happening? That 4 hour is truth. Like what we're witnessing right now is, it looks like some pullback. All right, a reaction to the bell. All right, but that 4 hour is still very much so in a buy. Don't sit here just because you see these red candles, jump into a trade you want to sit into all day. Just acknowledge what's going on. I don't recommend, you're going to have people that jump into that trade. They've already acknowledged that PSAR flip on that red candle, the flat top at the 1 minute. They've already seen that. You've got this candle that's fluctuating its colors, but they're scalping. They're taking that trade already. And possibly setting themselves up for some heartbreak, it looks like, if you went for that sale. Like I said, guys, you just, well, I guess I didn't mention this, but I guess my rule of thumb is that if I'm anywhere near my phone or my mouse or something like that, I remove my hands from my devices at the time of the bell. Like, just don't touch them, okay? Give it a second to play out, because, we're very real out here. The decisions we're making at our level are with very real money. Now, you tap in with me tonight, and we're going to talk about demo accounts. I want you guys in those for sure. If you have never taken an indice trade before, do that, baby, in your demo account. When you're just first figuring out. US 30 moves really fast. S&P, you can kind of get some similar experience off of it, and it moves a lot slower. Okay. All those other indices, I'm telling you, demo. Okay, so guys, it looks like we've got some movement. I'm not calling this direction, but we have movement. All right, my 5 minute, my stochastic fast and slow are not necessarily tightening up. They're still pointed down. All right, so that's why you see these wicks here, you guys. Let me just step away from this for a second. Like I said, we're going to take our hand off the device and we're going to let that do what it do. Jesus, take the wheel. We gonna stop for gas here at I've got to get better about these tabs. Our other indices. All right. So just viewing what happened with that zone we had at the S&P. We're at the 4 hour. Let's take it down to the 5 minute. This is where we want to live on our indices at a minimum. You know what I mean? All right. And if you notice, guys, everything is kind of happening in confluence with the US 30. Let's see what happened to gold. All right. Gold seems to be in a short drop. Let's see where it's at in the overall time frame. So, okay, gold seems to be at the top of a zone itself at a point of rejection as well. My personal support and resistance are yellow. We are 4 minutes after the bell. I'll check back here in a second. Get my highs, low, bomb. We'll cover that when you guys tap back in. So you can't get all this for free. I can't give you all this off. You know, check back in at 9 o'clock. We'll get some. We'll figure out a little bit more. All right. All right. Stop. Be agreeable. Okay. 1 hour, 4 hour is dropping. And this is gold again, XAU. I'm sorry, you guys. I shortchanged you. So our triggers here are calling for sells against our other metals. This is silver, if you guys were wondering. XAU, that's gold. XAG is silver. XAU. So we're calling for this sell at the 15 minute. XAG, where's XAU? Called for a buy 2 hours ago. Okay, so yeah, from here I would more so analyze that sell, right? But we are 5 minutes after the bell, so let me return to seeing what's happening. And I'm telling you guys, that's what I want you to get comfortable doing. Walking away from that, just like woo saw it, breathe, speak 3 times. I don't know what you got to do, but walk away from it, because here on these indices, you can learn some really expensive lessons. You know, I'll tell you that. Learn some really expensive lessons. That looks pretty expensive right there. You know what I mean? We're at that point of rejection. If you went for that sale, oh, so confident that we were just going to bust through 36.5 because of our jobless claims right now, man, might have been set up for failure. But what that does tell me is that is an area of value that I want to monitor through the rest of the day. Those spikes are important too. So let's see what's happening at the 30, because like I told you, here at our 4 hour, we're still not done buying. 1 hour, we're actually getting some curve right there. Our buyer's momentum is thinning out. All right. Let's skip the 15 time. So at my 30, looks like we're due for some pullback, you guys. Yes, I hope you guys weren't looking too forward to getting into that buy, because it looks like we might be dropping for a little bit. Now, how far that's going to go, I'm not here to tell you that, guys, that. That's why you want to really get into learning the conversation and the language of this here oscillator and your time frame confluence, because you will begin to see when this momentum weakens out. All right, but you guys can definitely monitor that, and we'll come back to that. What I'd like to do is kind of go back over, since this is the our advanced call. Let's revisit the trades we went over this morning, since our bell activity has like we're getting more direction now. You know, like I said, get comfortable with walking away. Don't tie anxiety to the charts. You know what I'm saying? If you guys think you missed a trade, it's not true. Trades continuously happen. We're just seeking entry points. All right. So what you would want to do if you missed any opportunity, let's go back. If you feel like you missed opportunity to grab good momentum, I promise you guys, you're going to have pullbacks, you're going to have corrections. So wait for this to retest this pivot, and then kind of assess where you're at from that point. As I said, this momentum doesn't even see, like, you see how much struggle is there. We're at the 1 minute, you guys. That's almost disrespectful to you guys. Here at the 5 minute. All right. Our candle actually has wicks on both sides, so we don't have like a determined movement to say that we would break through this zone right here, right? Price action is up here right now at this zone. So just keep an eye on that pullback. And going back into the trades that we had this morning, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Let's see where we started at. We had our GBP USD, and I think I just used that for the BYOB cash out strategy. And here was our first harmonic scanner trade, our AUD JPY. Let's see what this bad boy looks like at the 15 minute. Do you see that drop, you guys? And if you really like, again, to speak to the actual authority of the BYOB cash out method, let me just, what is that right there? I mean, that kind of made it harder to see, sorry. But what is that right there? That is what we call a PSAR flip. Let me delete that now. Now, what do we have if I zoom in and probably make it a lot easier to see right there? We've got a flat top red candle, right? And if I can just draw your attention down to the stochastic, where are we at? Right here around the 80. Jumping up here to the 1 hour for our time frame confluence. And what was going on? We were right here at this, looks like we're following the trend. 5 minute, we would have dropped down. This is where we would have been like, I don't know, I don't want to speak to the age of anybody out here. Like, who's ever like double dutched out here? The two jump ropes going back and forth looks really scary, right? All this does right here is where you are about to jump into your moment. All right here, jumping into your moment. Now, like I mentioned earlier before, if that PSAR flip and that trade went, you didn't miss nothing. You feel me? You just wait for that correction and then you get into your trade, because like I want to express again the authority of the BYOB cash out strategy. As you guys find this in your own trading experience, just notice what happens when you find the BYOB cash out strategy. Okay. So our AUD JPY played out. Still good for monitoring. All right, let's see what our 4 hour is telling us, since we're at price action is around our second suggested goal. The 4 hour kind of says we're in some sideways movement. All right, so don't get too frisky. I'm looking for a lot more happenings right there. That's one you just want to, I don't know, just close it. Not even gonna mess with that. Now coming into our GBP NZD, where we were at before, like I told you guys, I believe on the morning call, we had approached this solid 2 price point, and this trade, our psychological level, is incredibly significant, you guys. Solid 2. As Miss Dyer has pointed out before, the more zeros you have, the more significant of a level you're at. So the fact that price action rose above that and came right back down should not surprise any of us that have been around for a little while. Anybody that is surprised by that, yeah, I need you to be here with me at 1 o'clock, or at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about it. All right, 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about it. Market talks. All right, we are going to jump deeper in, because at this point, we still want to recognize what's happening. We fell back through the 2, we fell through our psychological level. But where are we at? We're at another area of value on our stochastic, right? So what it leads me to want to do is I'm going to drop this at a 4, and we are going to make it a good dash, because what that represents to me is a zone. It looks like we're creating the bottom of the zone should this price point of a 2 hold up, right? So what happened around here last time? Let's look. I mean, look left, guys. Look left. Look left. Tap in with me tonight. We'll talk about looking left. All right. So I just wanted to bring wind of it. If you don't remember what happened, go back, watch the stream. I don't want to get caught up in further analysis or what that means, because I'm going to explain that in our market talks. I'm not closing that one out per se, though. Here on my Euro AUD, this one we analyzed this morning. It wasn't a harmonic scanner trade. I believe I took this from a trigger on the vibrata. And, let me just speak to the value of that trigger. Now, keep in mind, just hold this thought. We are at 943. At 945, I'm going to be interested in coming back to my US 30, seeing what happened. But back to here, you guys. Earlier this morning, I was telling you about these triggers becoming areas of value, things you wanted to pay attention to. I mentioned about how right here, this zone that was identified, if you go further on to the left, you see how messy, I'm not going no further than that. You see how messy that gets. It would have taken a lot of effort to pass through this zone. And at the time that this trade was called, it really didn't have that strength to go through. This isn't my Euro AUD, but you can see that my Euro is, actually that indicates USD strength, but my Euro, had a brain fart there. That doesn't actually line up with my point. So let's ignore that. But at the time that this trade was called, I didn't feel like it had enough strength to pass through this zone right here. So once, you drop down, we'll see more activity. Once you get through all this messiness right here, and you start seeing these strong flat bottom candles, these trades, I mean, that's what those are the trades you're taking. You know what I mean? These are not signals. These are not signals. These are not signals. Don't wait for these to pop up every 15 seconds. Oh, I had that on pause. Every 15 seconds, and then just take every trade you see, because that's not going to work out in your favor. It might work out like one or two times, but man, are you setting yourself up for some expensive lessons, some hard lessons learned. Coming back to my US 30, we're 15 minutes after the bell. This is kind of an area of value and time after our bell rings. If anybody's wondering, like, after that bell, what direction the market's taken, you might have a better idea here at 9:45, especially if there's like not really a news heavy day. Now, if this was news heavy, I'm keeping an eye on it. It's probably going to be really volatile. A lot of people are making a lot of decisions. 9:45 though becomes even more so important when it's not news heavy. That's the kind of point I'm trying to speak to right now. As you guys can see, we are rejecting off of here, and because I cheated you guys earlier and didn't bring up my indices alerts on the vibrata, you guys missed out on this great trigger that we had right here, looking kind of like that one I was just talking about a second ago, huh? Anyways, we are rejecting right here. So seems to be there's some indecision going on. Let's see what's happening at my 15-minute. Now, my 15-minute isn't where we necessarily live on our US indices, but it is something that you kind of pay attention to. You're having a conversation with these charts. You're asking questions, and if there's something you can't ask, then somebody's lying, right? So let's ask all these time frames a question of what we all feel like. Let's have a collaborative group. This is the group text. All right, let's see what everybody says. And everybody that's in the group chat seems to be in agreement that this drop was very valid. But Grandpa up here, he's still saying something. He's still saying we're heading somewhere. So you guys don't get too confident in any heavy sells right now. Like I said, it kind of confirms this movement. There's a decision to be made here at this this trigger that we had, this area of value. You guys, feel free, whatever you want to do, just keep on monitoring that throughout the day. Are there any questions, comments, or testimonies that we have at this time? I appreciate you guys for the love. I guess some news reports are indicating that our president has confidence in inflation, that we are getting better, or that our expectations should be better for inflation, right? Now, the US 30 represents most closely the Dow Jones. All right, so I'm gonna cover more of this stuff, more of this intimate talk about this in market talks, you guys. But for now, these are the reports that are coming out. These are the reports that are influencing the decisions that are being made by institutional traders. All right. Now, while our president may not take us all the way through this trigger, while we may still see the results of this spike throughout the day, we are definitely in a pullback for right now. So if you guys if you guys weren't like super scalping, superheroes, super whatever, I mean, I don't want to play down, I don't mean to say super scalping or nothing as a condescending term, but if you guys aren't at that skill set, if that's not your personality type, you really want to wait at this moment. Like I said, the US indices can get really expensive, you guys. You do not want to like counter trend trading is the worst here. Okay. You don't want to get caught up on the US 30. The S&P, that's a good place to practice. Your demo is always the best place to practice. But the US 30, you guys, if you're not confident in your trade, I don't want you taking that trade. That's actually like kind of what we're built on here at BYOB, the Be Your Own Bank movement. We want you to not just enter every single bit of movement that you see. We want you to be educated. We want you to be disciplined. We want you moving in excellence, you guys. We want you making solid trades. Look at that green candle, big old boy. And we're on the 5 minute too. That's not the 1 minute. You guys, if you notice, I'm not sitting on the 1 minute. You can come down here and experience that all you would like. But the 5 minute, you guys, is where it's going to allow you to breathe a little bit. Just keep on monitoring that throughout the day. You guys keep on monitoring that. So like I didn't get to pull it earlier, but this trigger came from our US 30 right here. Well, no, that's a new trigger. Okay, so we've called for a buy again because my trigger was much older than that. Things to keep in mind. All right, you guys. So for today, I'm gonna skim back over through our US indices. I hope you guys enjoyed our talk this morning, this afternoon. For some of you guys, BYOB Worldwide, shout out to you guys' commitment for keeping up with us over here, especially on the Eastern time zone. Skimming through here, see what happens. But another thing that's important to us here at BYOB is our prayer warrior, Miss Reed. I'm telling you guys, if you guys don't have the correct mindset, mimic this woman right here. She speaks power, and you will hear it in her voice here soon. Miss Reed, are you present with us to close us out in prayer?
Yes, I am, Mr. Patton. And you said that you hoped we enjoyed this morning. Enjoy is not the word. We are ecstatic for what we have received this week. Thank you so much. Let us pray. Great God, our Heavenly Father, you are an awesome God. And we've come this morning to exalt and magnify you. We see you high and lifted up. We see your train filling the temple, God. You have made us some great and exceeding and precious promises. And we thank you that you are a promise keeper. Every one of us on this line can decree and declare that we were born for such a time as this. God, you chose us to be the manifestation of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. And we don't take this for granted at all. We love and appreciate you for what you're doing for us, through us, and with us, God. You're taking us from pre-K to graduation. And we thank you, God. The magnification, the addition, and the multiplication in our midst is just wonderful. Thank you for our visionary, Mr. Rogers, our trade whisperer, Miss Dyer, our finance doctor, Dr. Bythewood. And we thank you so much for our second generation of educators, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Brantley, Ms. Perry, Mr. Sims, Pastor Washington, our radio host, Bishop Rolliston. And God, we thank you for our third generation of educators, Ms. Graham, Dr. Kenner, Mr. Patton, Miss Turner, Miss Morgan Walker. And God, we are thankful, appreciative, and grateful for every member of this greatest financial empowerment movement known to mankind. Thank you for the next million households that will be impacted, empowered, and educated by March 28th, God. And God, we are believing you to show up and show out at each of our expos in Jacksonville and in Cleveland. God, we just thank you for how you're anointing our presenters with fresh oil as we, God, just lift you up and celebrate you and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s day. We give you praise in all things. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen and thank God. Let's go our way, walking under the open heaven in prosperity and abundance. And we'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. God bless you and have great days of profit.